All right, welcome everybody. With Bill O'Donnell, I'm Ron Futrell. Welcome to the Vegas Sportscast for this evening. Warren Zevon bringing us in. So make sure everybody protect yourself at all times. And we are on it tonight with a special Thursday night edition with Thursday night football going on. We got baseball going on. We have a lot happening. And let's see, and the latest with, Vegas Golden Knights. We're going to talk about that this hour, their debut and what they're doing right now, and the latest developments here in Las Vegas on the Vegas shooting and what happened there. It's now been 12 days since that happened, and it seems like every day there's more developments and more stuff, but we'll start off with the fun stuff. And, well, let's go here, the Vegas Golden Knights. I was at their debut, and what they did that evening was remarkable. It was fantastic what they did to honor those who were, talk about all the problems, the first responders and also the victims of the shooting here in Las Vegas 12 days ago. And they did a remarkable tribute, I felt.
They did. There was a couple media outlets that kind of had some negative things to say about it, which was surprising. Yeah.
Who?
One was the Verge media outlet. They do some minor all-topic pop culture stuff, but they said this is one example where sports doesn't heal, which is interesting.
Okay.
But I think it was a good, memorable opening. Obviously on a Tuesday night, bringing the first responders from the event. A lot of first responders, and then not only just first responders, but a lot of the surgeons and doctors and nurses that they brought out onto the ice to kind of say thanks. And it was obviously they had 58 second moment of silence for all of the victims while the victims' names, the deceased names, were on the ice, projected on the ice. It was really wow. I just got to say that. I mean,
I was there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very appropriate. I thought it was reverent. I'll put it in that is what they approached it with, the right reverence. They could have done nothing. They could have done something smaller. They could have done bigger. I thought it hit the mark. No. Okay, I'll agree with the Verge on. Okay, this is one time where sports doesn't heal. Okay, we're not. It's not going to heal those 58 families that lost one of their family members. Nobody's expecting it to do that.
No, but
that's a much larger process. As for healing the community and being a diversion, at least for a little while, from the real-world stuff, the brutal real-world stuff, the massacre that happened, it did serve that purpose.
And I think a lot of people are looking at it as a kind of way to get back to some type of a normalcy. And obviously with the Vegas Golden Knights, it's so new to the town. It was never normal status quo having a hockey team, but just having something as a distraction to even just the daily reports. And obviously we're helping contribute to that, but we also are part of this entire experience. And for us here in Vegas, obviously it's very close to home for all of us.
And by the way, they're 3-0 right now.
They are 3-0, and the thing is, let me just say that some hockey. So you can tell that there are some non-hockey fans that are definitely supporting the Golden Knights. I read a lot of the message boards and different topics, and a lot of people. I wouldn't say a lot, but there are a few people that are already saying, and it's just laughable. 82-0.
Well, yeah. Oh, we're going to the finals. Yeah. Stanley Cup Finals all the way. Us and Pittsburgh. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay.
But we are undefeated as an expansion team. That is a huge accomplishment, and especially what we saw over the preseason. The preseason was not a phenomenal preseason. We saw some good, some bad, but you could see that they were trying to gel together and try to come up with the right combinations of playmakers.
It was a Bill Belichick preseason.
You're right. And that's what the preseason should be. Like, I know what Fleury's going to do in the net. Like, I don't really need, you know what I mean? Like, he's a seasoned veteran. I know what we're going to see from our top-notch center. Like, we don't need to see that. And the same thing, for all of sports. That's what the preseason is for, is really to give your veteran players a little bit, get the rust off, and then for the most part, let your new guys that are new to the league or newer to the league at least get some more skate time in. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, and what the story of James Neal, you talk about the center and what he's done scoring-wise. This guy was great with the Penguins, great with Nashville Predators. This past season, broke his wrist late in the during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Did not play a single preseason game, had a handful of very light workouts with the team, so went on the ice without any preseason games and scored 2 goals to beat Dallas, and then scored the game winner in overtime to beat Arizona, and then scored 2 goals. Was he get 2 goals in the 5-2 win over Arizona? I think he got 2 goals.
Oh, there were just goals everywhere.
There were just goals all over the place. They scored 4 goals in the first 11 minutes.
It was the Oprah Winfrey of goals. You're getting a goal. You're getting a goal.
You win a G6. You win a G6. You get a goal. You get a goal. Yes. So, it's fun to see so far. They got a game coming up on Friday nights. The Golden Knights are going to be taking on the Detroit Red Wings, and not you say the Red Wings, but the Red Wings are having their issues. Certainly, they're not the Red Wings of days gone by.
Yeah, they are not in their prime anymore.
And then Sunday, how about the Boston Bruins? I don't know how much you're. Come on, you're the East Coast guy. You're wearing your Patriots shirt right now, and you Boston Bruins. What do you think? I don't know the Boston Bruins hockey wise, what they've done, what they haven't done, and where they're at.
The thing is Boston Bruins are a team that always ends up keeping their veteran players around a little bit too long. They hold on to people a few years longer than they really should, and it's unfortunate because they need to sometimes move on. But Boston itself is a city that just holds on to a lot of the players emotionally when they really shouldn't, when the players are past their prime. So we have obviously in hockey world, Boston right now sits at 1-2, so they're not doing so well. But yeah, as far as 3-0 teams, I mean, there's a limited number of them. I mean, the New Jersey Devils, obviously they're 3-0. St. Louis finally lost their first game. They were 3-0. They were 4-0, and now they're 4-1. So they're a loss. Blackhawks are still undefeated at 3-0, and the Vegas Golden Knights. So I mean, it's just a few. It's right now Vegas, Blackhawks, and New Jersey Devils for undefeated teams, and that's a good group of teams to be a part of.
I think the Blues are here later this month. Your wife's a big Blues fan.
My wife is a big Blues fan, and the Blues are actually coming here, I believe, next weekend.
Oh, that quickly? Okay.
Yeah, it might even be this weekend. I'll be out of town, unfortunately. I know she really wanted to go, so she'll have to hit up the next one. But
they'll be here a couple of times, and also, okay, to let you know how to get in touch with us, the Vegas Sportscast. You can get us on iTunes, get us on, iHeart Music. We're there. We're on Spreaker.com. We're on our website.
We're on Google Play. So
Google Play.
Obviously, the easiest way to get to listen and subscribe is go to thevegassportscast.com. In the top right-hand corner of the menu section, it'll say podcast. If you click that, it'll have every way to actually listen, subscribe. It'll have links to iTunes, links to Google Play, links to everything. So, I mean, that's the easiest way. Obviously, if you're listening to this, you found us somehow.
so thank you and welcome. And we are the number one podcast for Vegas sports, period, in town. And that's Cover It. We're inside it. We've had interviews with a number of Vegas sports celebrities and then some of the athletes and that sort of stuff. So that's our goal. That's what we're going to do. Now, there's a lot of things we can cover certainly from a Vegas angle. The NFL, you can always cover the NFL from a Vegas angle, and that's right now. You got Philadelphia 28-23, about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter with Carolina driving. So Cam Newton ain't done yet. And it just scored a crazy touchdown. Got that?
No, actually, that was not.
Oh, that was not ruled a touchdown. They lost the challenge.
I believe they lost,
but they went in then a little bit later.
Yeah, it was one pass later. They ended up getting it in. So
okay, so down by 5 with 4:27 left, and they've got the ball near midfield. Do the Carolina Panthers taking on Philadelphia? Carson Wentz is just so much fun to watch as a quarterback, and I'm not an Eagles fan. He's got 3 touchdowns tonight. Yes, I do have him on one of my fantasy teams, so that's why. But I did that on purpose. I mean, I really like the way the guy looked in his rookie season last year, and what he's done. Jared Goff is now coming to his own. The rookie chosen number 1 in front of Carson Wentz by the Rams, so the Rams are starting to do something now, and it's Yeah, it's interesting to see those two quarterbacks, and they're going to be watched throughout their career because they were taken 1 and 2 in last year's draft. So they will be inseparable.
Another big development in the NFL. I'm not sure if you had heard this yet, but the Fifth Circuit has overruled the Ezekiel Elliott ruling, and he is now suspended again.
So he's back on suspension. So they ruled that the NFL has the right to suspend.
Has the right, and that's what it comes down to. I feel bad that the players took that kind of a deal with Goodell a few years ago when they were on strike and everybody wanted to get football back. The NFL Players Association basically just gave Roger Goodell open carte blanche to do what he wants in the discipline world. There's not really much of a actual hearing process. You can appeal things, but really it's kind of like the equivalent of if my dad grounded me as a child and I went to my mom and she just said, "No, your dad grounded you."
He's making the rules.
Yeah, that's the appeal process. So as of today, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott is back on his 6-game suspension. He cannot be on at the team facility starting now, and that ends November 23rd.
Wow.
So
okay,
and that is an immediate court ruling. He has the chance to still appeal it and bring it up to a higher court, much like obviously we followed that with Tom Brady a few years ago, where he was fighting the Deflategate process. That almost made it to the Supreme Court before he finally backed down and just took the 4-game suspension.
Well, and there is a case that went to the U.S. Supreme Court. Similar to this, involving Jerry Tarkanian, and this happened. I'm going to give you the short version. I know there is a long version to this, but it deals with 1977. The NCAA put UNLV on suspension for 2 years, and they said you have to fire your coach, Jerry Tarkanian. He's the only coach that they've ever said. The NCAA before or since has ever said you got to suspend your coach, other than SMU, which they gave the death penalty to, which in essence was a suspension of the coach. But okay, so the state of Nevada said no, he's a state employee. We have the right to hire who we want to hire as our basketball coach. You can't tell us that we can't hire Jerry Tarkanian as the coach. You don't have that right.
Yep.
The NCAA said, yes, we do. You're a member of our club, and draw this comparison with the NFL, sort of as a club. You join a club, you've got to obey the greens fees rules if you're in a country club at the golf course. You've got to obey the cart rules. If you violate those, you're going to be in trouble, and they have the right to make those rules whatever they are. So that fight goes through court, through district court, all the different courts, state court, everywhere you can imagine, a number of times, appeals back and forth, until Jerry Tarkanian eventually took it to the U.S. Supreme Court, where his argument was, no, I'm a state employee, you can't fire me, and the state of Nevada supported him in this effort. Well, the NCAA said, no, we can. You're a member of our club. The Supreme Court ruled 5-4, and this was 1991 or 91. They ruled 5-4 against Jerry Tarkanian.
Now, why exactly? For those that are not history buffs here of the early 90s,
haven't lived it.
Why was he even? Why did the NCAA want to get rid of him?
Oh boy, that's a deep one right there.
I mean, that was right after the championship.
Well, no, this was 70. Oh, why did it took them that long for the appeals from the 77?
Oh, wow.
This was still the 77 case.
Gotcha. Okay.
It went that long, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth to courts and attorneys and courts and blah, 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 rulings and appealed rulings. So this was from just a normal infractions case in 1977, which, by the way, the school served its 2-year suspension. It was UNLV went to the Final Four in 1977, lost to North Carolina. So coming off of that Final Four, they were put on 2 years probation,
okay,
which they served. But as part of that probation, they said you also have to fire your coach.
Gotcha. And what was their infraction?
Oh, the infractions. Well, Tark disputed them for a long time, and what he did in that 77 case was he found that it was very shoddy investigating, and that he fought the NCAA.